Thank you, Mr Chair. I think the fact that the Minister has had to put 2 amendments forward shows the problem of rushing this bill through in urgency. I sat on the Select Committee for periods when it considered the Employment Relations Act, and I've been considering the amendments to the Employment Relations Act that have been in the Transport Industrial Relations Select Committee, the amendments to the Holidays Act, and as with every Select Committee, changes are made to the bill. And one of the reasons why we don't just rush a bill into urgency and where it's only available at the beginning of the debate is it's got to be there for 3 days so people can have a look at it, get an idea of what might be wrong with it there. Then in the Select Committee, MPs can work out what might be wrong with it. They take public submissions. All of this is necessary to get good legislation. And even in this very short bill, Kate Wilkinson's come up with 2 amendments in the middle of this very rapid debate. Corrections, she calls them, but no doubt there's more. Now, what is this bill all about? There's been arguments about where the reason for it came from. And the reality is, Kate Wilkinson said, I just talked, we're open to talking with Warner Brothers. They want to talk to us. Why not listen to their views? And then we come forward with this bill. John Key said pretty explicitly that changing the legislation was part of the deal with Warner Brothers. Now, I don't disagree with Kate Wilkinson talking to anyone, including Warner Brothers. They can talk to anyone in the world. That's their right. But when a bill comes before this Parliament and it's based on talks with only one party, that party being the Warner Brothers multinational, and everyone else, employers, unionists, political parties, community people, anyone in New Zealand is shut out of that discussion before the bill comes to the House, then I am concerned. That is an abuse of democracy, and if you're only talking to a multinational and no one else, and you do what they want, you are in effect This is in relation to the bill. And one of the problems with the bill and the amendments in Clause 4 here is that it does cover anyone working in any way in the film industry. It's got sort of listing of voiceovers, actors and standards, etc. And then it says anyone, a person engaged in film production work in any other capacity, any other at all. And then it goes on later on to talk about pre-production work, production work, post-production, on or off the set, etc. So you can see an example of someone who might be hired to work 8 hours straight, normal day, every day, just sweeping the floors in the particular production studio in every respect in terms of the Employment Relations Act and in terms of the court decision in the Bryson case. That person, the work they do what they're told, they're unskilled, they sweep floors, it's regular hours, everything is covered as normal. Under this bill, the company could say, well, if you want a job sweeping floors, you've got to be an independent contractor. If you don't accept that in the contract, then you don't get a job here and we'll get someone else to sweep the floors. And isn't it absurd that someone who is in no way an independent contractor in substance, under this bill, can be defined as one and lose effectively all rights to defend their conditions, to work with others to improve their conditions, the normal things that unions do. That is where it becomes highly unjust. And once you put this exception for all film workers, including people sweeping the floor, in legislation like this, as Heather Roy said, I think, in her speech, why not generalise it to everyone? And that means you get to a situation, particularly as the employers can determine who signs the contract in what form, because they're the people who hand out the jobs, that then you get an ununionised workforce in New Zealand. And really, That's what this is all about, de-unionising labour in New Zealand. And is that in the national interest? I think Nick Smith said it's all about the national interest. Is it in the national interest?